The Mercedes-Benz World Drive is on its last leg through Australia. The 3 Mercedes-Benz B-Class F-Cells circling the globe have reached their halfway mark. 15,000 of the total 30,000 emission-free kilometers, or 19,000 miles, are already behind the Mercedes-Benz F-CELL Drive. Christian, the drivers of the cars, got to see a wide range of landscapes, vegetation and wildlife in Australia. Hi, I'm Anita Anthony and you're watching Echo Track. Peering out of nowhere, Christian caught a glimpse of a lone figure pushing a small cart. Was this just a mirage? Of course, Christian's curiosity got the better of him and he had to stop to get the scoop.
When a friend of his died of cancer, Andrew made a decision. He sold his car, his house and off he went to go all over Australia and raise money for the Cancer Council. Roughly 16,000 kilometers in 18 months.
This is something I'd been thinking about for a couple of years, and I decided that I was going to go for it, and I had to make a lot of sacrifices and here I am today. So I'm glad I did anyway, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Andrew's way of living is quite sustainable. A tent, a sleeping bag, a photovoltaic cell that charges a small battery for charging his phone and iPod. Water, food and protein powder for his leg muscles. That's it. With no fixed schedule and no fear of being out in the woods every night.
Roz Savage, solo ocean rower, environmental campaigner and author, was the first woman to row solo across the Atlantic in 2005. And in 2010, she rowed solo again across the Pacific, covering a combined total distance of 11,000 miles in a 23-foot rowboat. Her mission: rowing to create awareness and inspire individuals to take action on the top environmental issues facing the world today. Christian caught up with Roz just before her launch from Perth to Mumbai, India, where she will row across the Indian Ocean.
There was a time when Roz had a career as a management consultant, a husband and a sports car. But one day she wrote 2 versions of her obituary. One that she was heading for and the other that she dreamed of having. So she felt it was time for a change. Fast forward 10 years later in Perth. Roz has stored freeze-dried expedition food, nuts, nutrition bars and 7 iPods full of audiobooks. She's ready to conquer the 3rd ocean. For more than 100 days she will be completely alone. There will be no more sleeping space than this. And even though she has heard reports about pirates on her route, she can't wait to go. Because she learned to master her emotions.
There are times when I stand up here and I just scream and yell at the elements because I'm just so fed up with everything. So I hope I'm not becoming unemotional. I hope that I'm just being emotional when it's appropriate.
The very early next morning, her Australian friends are all there to say farewell, and 3 camera crews. At shortly past 7 a.m, Roz is doing her first stroke of the millions that will come. On a friend's sailing boat, we accompany her for the first few miles, and then we leave her alone on the Indian Ocean.
The F-CELL Drive team also got a taste of solitude driving through the desolate landscape. When the 3 B-Class F-Cells reached the outback, for the first time the F-CELL World Drive was incommunicado with the rest of the world.
So Australia was certainly another highlight of the F-CELL World Drive. We had very positive feedback in the cities from farmers, from railroad workers and from road train drivers. So everybody was really welcoming us. We have now toured the world halfway, and from now on we go home.
In Perth, Christian found an innovative approach to provide renewable clean energy, harnessing the ocean. The CELL Wave Energy project, launched by the Perth-based public company Carnegie Wave Energy, is designed to convert the movement of the waves into emission-free electricity as well as clean power for the desalination of water.
The idea sounds almost too simple to be true. Large buoys are floating underwater near its surface. They are connected with large ropes to piston pumps on the ground. The movement of the waves pushes the buoys back and forward, and the pumps on the ground create a pressure in a water pipeline that goes to the land and powers a turbine there. But as often is the case, the completion of this idea is quite complex because of corrosion, tides or storms. So it took a decade of small-scale testing and developing until Carnegie Wave is now just about ready to bring its concept to the market.
Wave energy is cost competitive, and the reason it can be is because of the high capacity factors. Because it's a highly available resource, you can get a lot of generation out of a megawatt and a consistent, predictable generation, and that means you can design cost effectively. There's an enormous potential. The World Energy Council estimates that the actual theoretical amount of energy in the oceans is roughly enough to power the world twice over.
Junkadelic is a community arts group dedicated to bringing together funk music and culture with a focus on environmental sustainability to young people. At the core of Junkadelic group is the street percussion performance group known as the Funk Junkies. Christian sat in on their rehearsal.
And what more should I say? Let's listen to the music and to the people who make it.
Our main aim is accessibility of the music, so by using recycled instruments it means anyone can play it. They just have to go down to their local tip or even off the side of the street. They can pick up bits and pieces and make an instrument, make a drum and start playing. As long as the sun shines we can go out into the street, and we are the venue. We don't need a venue, we can just find a street corner and we'll have a 15-piece band, funk band, playing on the street corner.
From Perth, the F-CELL World Drive is now on its way to China.
Old small houses, skyscrapers, construction sites. Now this is what Shanghai seems to be all about. But there's a will for sustainability here as well. There's an interesting green company consulting and teaching on sustainability issues here. And I'm right on the rooftop of their office building. More on that next week here on EcoTrack.